Back in the 90s, run-and-gun games were the ultimate test of your reflexes and patience. You dive headfirst into the action, blasting through endless waves of enemies while dodging bullets, like your thumbs were on fire. Every level felt like an epic war zone, full of explosions, crazy bosses, and power-ups that made you feel unstoppable for a few glorious seconds. The arcade lights, the sound of rapid gunfire, and that rush of surviving with one life left. It was pure adrenaline and chaos rolled into pixel-perfect fun. In this video, we are going to talk about the top 15 90s run-and-gun games that you must play in 2025 winters. Gunstar Heroes. So, firing up Gunstar Heroes always feels like flipping a switch on chaos mode. Right from the start, the colours slap you in the face and those wild enemies never let up. What do I love most? It never gets old, mixing up your weapons. One minute you're dishing out lightning. The next minute you're spraying fire across the screen like you're cleaning house. There's so much variety, even in a single level, that you just can't zone out. And the boss fights, they're legendary, almost ridiculous sometimes, like fighting against a sentient blender on a rocket. It's that two-player couch co-op magic, though, that seals it. Yelling about who's grabbing what, tossing each other around by accident. It's the kind of friendly chaos you wish every modern run-and-gun could deliver. If winter means being stuck inside, trust me, few games pack action and just pure fun into every second like this one.
Rocket launcher.
Metal Slug. There's this special spark Metal Slug has that just grabs you, and it never lets go. First off, everything explodes, like literally everything, even when you don't expect it. Those chunky sprites and goofy soldier animations make the chaos look awesome, not messy. The run-and-gun action is frantic, sure, but there's always room for silly moments, whether it's a camel with a gun or one of those random power-ups that totally shift the mood. Metal Slug loves to keep you on your toes. One life, and you're smashing buttons, sweating it out, hungry to push a little farther next time. It's all about the details, from the dramatic tanks to the ridiculous enemy screams. Every playthrough is a mix of, oh man, did you see that, laughter and nail-biting tension. And honestly, if winter gets you down, blasting baddies and laughing with friends is about as good as nostalgia-fueled gaming gets. Contra 3, The Alien Wars. Guys, Contra 3 is wild. One of those games that chews you up and dares you to try again, and every time you do, it feels even better. This one's all about the challenge, and oh boy, does it deliver. Lasers, bombs, paratroopers, gigantic alien bosses flying at you from every angle. Your reflexes are going to get a workout. The top-down levels throw you a curve, but they break up the pace in a really awesome way. The controls feel super responsive, so when you dodge something insane, it actually feels like a skill move, not just luck. The co-op is frantic but fair, and nothing beats nailing those screen-clearing bombs at just the right moment. Every blown-up bridge or crazy escape stays stuck in your head. This is winter gaming, for anyone brave enough to want a real test. But when you get it right, the bragging rights totally make it worth the battle. Sunset Riders. Have you ever just wanted to feel like the main character in a wild western with none of the gritty stress? That's Sunset Riders for you, pure rowdy arcade bliss. I remember firing it up and immediately wanting a hat and a six-shooter. The colours are so bright, it's like stepping inside a comic book, and those goofy villains are just waiting to get tossed off. Roofs, jumps, slides, horses running wild, that's your ticket to non-stop action. Honestly, the best part is grabbing a group of friends and yelling at each other as you dodge cattle or try to outshoot the bosses. The levels never feel dull, with new set pieces popping up like saloons or train rides every few minutes. And the music? Dude, you'll be whistling those tunes for days. For those winter nights when you're craving laughter, fast reflexes, and a dash of Western chaos, nothing hits quite like this one. Alien Soldier. Alright, if you want a game that pushes your reflexes to their absolute limit, Alien Soldier is basically a rite of passage. The second you jump in, you realise this isn't your average run and gun. You're dropped into bullet hell madness that demands focus from the jump. What hooked me was how fast everything moves and how smooth swapping between weapons feels. You've got to stay on your toes, darting around, grappling with quick dodges and lining up the perfect shots. There's legit satisfaction in figuring out each boss's crazy attack patterns, almost like a puzzle inside an action storm. The visuals are super crisp, bursting with colour and weirdness in every corner, really amping up that hyper sci-fi energy. Lone wolfing through insane levels, figuring out tiny tricks to last a bit longer each run, it just never gets old. For me, this one packs that old school one more try, feeling tighter than most, and winter weekends fly by in that loop. Shock Troopers. Guys, nothing beats jumping into Shock Troopers with friends and just letting the bullets fly. This game is all about momentum. You're moving non-stop, dodging enemy fire, picking your routes on the fly, and working together to clear out screens packed with mayhem. It's really cool how you have a choice of characters and can tag them in, each one packing their own style and weapons, so it actually feels fresh every time. The best sessions were always pretty rowdy, with everyone yelling out directions or freaking out when someone grabbed a surprise power-up. The vibe is arcade perfect, a full-on bullet-spraying party where you kind of forget about the outside world. What's sick is it rewards both solo players and teamwork, so you're never really stuck playing just one way. By the time you get to the boss fights, things get wild with wild patterns and explosions everywhere. This is the stuff cold nights and epic gaming memories are made of. Mystic Warriors: Wrath of the Ninjas. Jumping into Mystic Warriors was always a blast, like mixing straight-up ninja moves with chaotic shootouts. It's not just about blasting through bad guys. You're flipping, tossing and slashing your way around, with each stage throwing in some twist to keep you guessing. I'm all about games that don't just stick to run and gun. And this one totally delivers with its platforming and cool stage designs. You'll start rocking out to that energetic soundtrack without realizing it, and the character variety feels like each ninja has their own swagger. Playing with others turns things up to 11, with everybody scrambling for power-ups and trying to outdo each other on style points. The stages are wild, train rides, snowstorms, and you get those whoa moments all the time. It's one of those hidden arcade gems that's just waiting for you to master its mix of skill and style, especially when you're cooped up and looking for something that pops. GunForce II is a straight-up explosion fest that never takes its finger off the trigger. Every time I hop in, I'm nailed by how relentless the pacing is. There's no breathing room, just a constant rush of tanks, mechs, and over-the-top enemy waves storming the screen. What sets this one apart for me is the twin gun mechanic. Mowing down lines of enemies with each arm blazing just makes you feel unstoppable. The graphics crank up the metallic mayhem, with everything bursting into sprites and sparks. You're smashing vehicles, leaping between platforms, and rescuing hostages, barely pausing to catch your breath before the next barrage hits co-op is double the madness, with both players constantly trying to outdo each other in the chaos. Even now, blasting through snowy levels in the winter feels right. Just pure arcade energy, wiped clean of any slow moments. This game's a wild ride from start to finish, and that's how old school run and gun should be. Rapid reload. Launching into rapid reload is pure rush. Everything about it screams urgency, from the pounding music to the way your timer keeps ticking down like a warning to stay in motion. Swapping through 4 completely different weapons per character gives it that manic, can never get bored energy, and tossing enemies in any direction just feels spicy. The grappling hook adds a little acrobat flair. You'll actually use it in the heat of battle, not just to show off. There's no lazy pacing here. Grab power crystals to keep beefing up firepower, and you better collect those or find your shots getting weaker. Sometimes you catch a booster and suddenly you're unstoppable. For a precious few seconds anyway. It totally nails that 90s just one more run addiction, especially when the bosses ramp things up with ridiculous attacks. In those winter months, when you want something old school but crammed with action, Gunner's Heaven feels like a forgotten arcade fever dream that's begging to be revived. Midnight Resistance. Midnight Resistance always had this cool, gritty vibe. Stepping into that pixel war zone felt like picking up an action movie in the middle of its best scene. That rotating aim system honestly took a second to get used to, but once you got the hang of it, picking off baddies and keeping your aim steady felt slick as heck. The most addictive part? Grabbing power-ups and slowly turning your basic weapon into a flamethrower or rocket launcher monster. There's serious satisfaction in clearing a path and snagging the best gear just in time for the boss. The level design's kind of a hidden gem. You'll find alternate routes and always wind up in tricky spots with just enough challenge. Plus, it's got that emotionally weird save your family thing going on, so you're not just mashing buttons, you're on a rescue mission. Cold nights and some classic Midnight Resistance runs never fail to hit the retro spot. Wild guns. You ever want to feel like you're starring in a steampunk western? Boot up Wild Guns. This game is a total blast of charm and frantic energy. 1 second you're sidestepping bullets in the foreground. The next, you're lassoing a robot cowboy while enemies lob dynamite your way. The vibe is classic western, but throws in all that sci-fi weirdness to keep you guessing. The kicker is how it makes you juggle dodging and aiming. Can't run and shoot, so you gotta stay sharp and line up your shots while the screen fills with chaos. Stages never feel too long, and the bosses? They're big, flashy, and force you to learn their patterns. The payoff for good play is the Vulcan gun, which basically lets you go ham for a little while. Pure video game joy. Grab a buddy for co-op and you'll lose all track of time, laughing and yelling through snowy afternoons. Mercs. Mercs is what you play when you just want to blast everything to smithereens and save the day with a couple of buddies. The screen is always packed with action. Tanks, gun turrets, and an endless wave of enemies keep you on your toes from the jump. The controls are super straightforward, but what makes it pop is riding vehicles and launching those screen-clearing bombs, especially right before you get overwhelmed. Power-ups come fast, but you always need to make quick decisions. Use that special attack now, or save it for the next swarm. There's that military edge too. You're rescuing the president, not just chasing a high score, so you get a bit of a mission. 3-player co-op means no one's sitting out. It's all explosions and manic fun. If you're heading into winter and want an arcade game that's easy to pick up and impossible to put down, this one's a heater.
Ninja Commando.
Ninja Commando. Cracking open Ninja Commando feels like jumping into a wild time-traveling whirlwind where martial arts meet non-stop bullet dodging. The pace is nuts. You're racing through eras, button-mashing your attacks, and spamming those flashy ninjutsu specials that basically wipe out half the screen. Each character has their own flair, and half the fun is finding your favorite. Maybe you lean toward brute force, or maybe you're all about rapid-fire strikes. The isometric angle is slick, even if it messes with your depth perception the first couple times. And it's loaded with weird, creative bosses, plus plenty of power-ups to shake things up. Whether you're on a solo blitz or roping in a buddy for Team Ninja Madness, you're in for chaos. Enemies never seem to let up. And honestly, that's where the winter appeal lies. It's perfect couch gaming, where the only thing colder than the weather is your rival's losing streak when you clear a level with a jaw-dropping super move. Turrican. Booting up Turrican always reminds me how ahead of its time some of these classics were. You get way more freedom to roam than most run-and-gun games. The levels actually feel like real worlds, not just straight lines. Instead of being stuck on rails, you're hunting secrets, blasting open walls, morphing into a rolling buzzsaw, and just generally causing mayhem. The soundtracks stick with you. Those thumping, catchy tunes pump you up and make every victory feel sweeter. Every part of Turrican pushes you to experiment with different weapons and keep your eyes peeled for hidden power-ups. The visuals don't just look retro, they look bold. Huge explosions and chunky, detailed enemies make every fight memorable. Even with the extra exploration, it never loses pace. There's always a new challenge around the next corner. It's the kind of game where winter afternoons just disappear and you find yourself saying, "One more level," half a dozen times before midnight. Super Star Wars. Okay. If you've ever wanted to actually be in Star Wars, blasting stormtroopers and dodging giant critters, Super Star Wars is the ticket. It just throws you into insane action from the start. Platforming, vehicle chases, lightsaber battles. It packs way more than most run-and-guns into its pixel-sized package. The bosses are epic, straight out of blockbuster moments, and there's that sweet Star Wars music in glorious SNES chiptune form. Outrunning Jawas, barreling through Mos Eisley, even flying around in a land speeder, each level throws something new at you and keeps you guessing what really amps it up. The difficulty spikes. You'll be yelling at the screen, then grinning like a kid when you finally crack a tough section. It's pure, nostalgic energy. And for anyone bundled up this winter with an SNES or an emulator, this one's a can't-miss ticket to a galaxy of classic mayhem. And that wraps up our countdown of the top 15 90s run-and-gun games. you must play in 2025 winters. If you're ready for big explosions, wild co-op sessions, and a blast of pure arcade chaos, these classics have you covered. Let me know your favourite in the comments, or drop a hidden gem I missed. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe for more gaming throwbacks, and share this with your retro-loving friends. Thanks for watching.